here from the Scrappy sisters. Yes, I'm doing a live intro. I want to apologise. I know you'll be able to hear the water in the background. That's my fish tank. It's right beside me. I'm actually sitting at my kitchen table, doing a little bit of downstairs kitchen table scrapping. I wanted to do this layout and get it up for you quickly so that I could introduce Addison. Now, I wanted to do a live intro because I was sort of playing around, came up with this. I really didn't want to take it all off and redo it on camera. So I thought I'd jump on. Now, I am playing along with May I Scrap Lift You this month, that Crystal Barrett from Pineapple Papers. It's her series. I know Crystal has a list of people she's scrap lifting for the month. Everything will be linked in the description box, including everyone who's playing along. I decided that I was going to do my best to scrap lift a couple of my very good friends from the scrapping community, and this is a scrap lift of Shannon from She's Crafty. Now, I can't show you the actual layout I'm using because it's on my phone and I'm filming with my phone, but I will, through the power of editing, put up a little photo on the screen for you. It's a pretty literal scrap lift that I'm doing. Well, sort of. The floral stuff is definitely pretty literal. And she had a couple of floral explosions going on, and I have used basically all of the floral pack from Jen Hadfield's Peaceful Heart collection. So I cut off some of the white around some of the leafy bits because I find her ephemera has a lot of white. And these are all I have left, just a few of the larger floral pieces, which obviously I will use on other layouts. So I'm super happy with how this is looking. Now, I wanted to film this layout because Jess has a layout coming out later this month with Addison, and I thought I should probably do a layout first, introducing her and just telling you a bit about her. So when I switch now to voiceover mode, I will probably not tell you so much about what I'm doing on the layout, and probably a little bit about her birth story and our kind of journey so far, because it was an interesting birth, shall we say. If you're an eagle eye or you're watching this on a big screen, you possibly will have read what's on this card. So, you know, spoiler alert, it says my name is Addison, my parents are Katie and Daniel. I was born at home, and that my midwife and the doctor, paramedics, assisted with my arrival. So yeah, look, there's a lot to tell you. So I will do the voiceover, switch to voiceover mode. Addison's actually going to wake up any minute now, so I just wanted to film this intro quickly because it'll probably take me the rest of the day to actually film the video, and I just wanted to be able to kind of do it at my own pace. But yes, I will tell you her birth story. I will say I'm going to back my photo just on some cardstock so it pops out a little bit, and then I'm going to stick the majority of the leafy florals flat, and I'll pop up a couple of these florals that are sort of overlapping the photo, and the same with this cluster over here, and I'm going to add a title somewhere, and then that'll be about it. I'm probably not going to do any other embellishing. If I do, it might be a couple of like enamel dots or something like that, but that will be about it because there's a lot going on here. I am backing my layout. I'll actually remove this anyway so that I can stick the florals down easier. This is a piece of 12 by 12 paper from Jen Hadfield's Peaceful Heart collection. So it matches, but this cardstock here is just from my stash. I've actually got the branding strip here. It is a Kaiser Craft piece of paper from the EXO collection. It's called Hugs. It'll be super old. Had it in my stash for a long time, but I just thought it matched perfectly, the pinks. And the Jen Hadfield one is Jen Hadfield Peaceful Heart, and it's the Breathe Deeply. So it's got a beautiful, well, this is the gutted part. It's a beautiful floral on that side, which matches the florals here, and this beautiful green. I really like this green, but I just thought the floral background actually suited better. Normally I would have bordered in a plain green, but I think this actually works really well. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch you on to fast forward and voiceover. I will tell you her birth story, probably not that much else about what I'm doing with the layout. I will have Shannon's layout up while I'm doing this so you can see how I'm scrap lifting. There's a lot of people playing along with May I Scrap Lift You, so everything will be linked in the description box down below. But yeah, I'm back. I don't know how regular my layouts will be for a while. We're still adjusting to life. She's only 6 weeks old, almost 6 weeks old. So, you know, she hasn't been in our family for long. And so we're still, we're getting there. So I won't have a heap of videos out, but I'm doing my best to do a few videos. I want to participate in some of Christy's 30 Days of Sketches, which is happening in June. I won't be able to do a video every day. That's just unrealistic. But I definitely want to play along, as well as obviously playing along with my scrap lift you and just scrapping for fun. I am doing my How to Kill a Kit with Style. So this layout is actually using my How to Kill a Kit with Style for the month of May. So that's exciting, and I'm hoping to get about 5 or 6 layouts done with that kit. I may not film them all because I tend to just sort of scrap at the kitchen table. You can see it, there's stuff everywhere, but it's working. So yes, I'll do what I can filming wise, but otherwise I will just scrap for fun, and you'll see the layouts that I made at the end of the month. So yeah, I'm going to switch to fast forward mode and enjoy the birth story. Okay, so switching to fast forward and voiceover mode. Now, as I said, I'm not really going to talk through what I'm doing. I'm just gluing everything down. But I wanted to take a minute to say, yes, Addie's here. She arrived on the 31st of March, which I think most of you who listen to our videos already know, because I did post a little picture up in the community tab of YouTube. And I also have filmed my How to Kill a Kit with Style videos, my wrap up, and also my intro video for this month. So I have obviously told you that Addie's already here, and a lot of you I know see me post in various Facebook groups and things like that. So I think you're all aware she's arrived. I just thought I would quickly tell you how she arrived because, it's a story. I've joked with my partner that she couldn't let her brother upstage her in the kind of arrival story. I think most of you know Lincoln's got a medical condition we didn't know about before he was born, so his birth was very straightforward, but the afterwards was a little bit more complicated and involved, an ambulance trip for him and some surgery and a 2.5-week stay at our children's hospital in Melbourne. So I joked with my partner that apparently Addison decided that she could not be upstaged with her birth story. And so basically what happened was my waters broke the day before she was born, so on the 30th, which same thing happened with Lincoln. So I was like, cool, I know the drill, going to have a baby at some point. Baby's coming soon. I was 38 weeks and 5 days, I think. So, perfectly respectable time to give birth. Nothing much happened. Went in for monitoring. Yes, my waters are broke. I was booked in for an induction the next day if she didn't arrive. But yeah, nothing much was happening. Nothing was progressing. So just went home, chilled out, went back for monitoring later the night of the 30th, or the later in the day, evening of the 30th, because I hadn't felt her move for a while, and I thought, that's a bit unusual. So I went back in to the hospital, and they hooked me up to the monitor and said, no, she's all good, but you're booked in tomorrow morning for an induction, so give us a call at 6 a.m, but you'll probably come in about lunchtime to be induced and, for then baby to arrive. So the same thing happened with Lincoln, and I thought, okay, all good, I'm going to have a baby, great, got everything ready, packed, put the hospital bags in the car, got all organised, so, could just get up and go if needed. What happened with Lincoln was I went into labour that night, and so I never needed to be induced, and I had him kind of early in the morning. So I just wanted to be prepared. So I'd put everything in the car already, suspecting that I might go into labour overnight. I had a few mild contractions, and so I kind of went, cool, this might happen naturally. I might not need to be induced. Great. Now, I had to go to a hospital that was a little further away, about a 40-minute drive, as opposed to one that's 5-minute drive from my house. And there were 2 reasons for that. One is because of Lincoln's medical condition. They classified my pregnancy as high risk, even though I'd had a million scans and it didn't show up anything unusual with Addison. So I was fairly confident that she wasn't going to have any of the medical things that Lincoln has. But they wanted to be sure. So I had to go to the bigger hospital that was a little further away. And then the second reason was about a month before she was born, the smaller hospital that's near to us, the lifts in the maternity and birthing suites broke, and so there was no way for them to get women who needed an emergency cesarean
up into the ORs quickly. There were other lifts, of course, but they took a lot longer to get to, and so they actually shut down the birthing suite, and you cannot give birth at the hospital near me anymore. They make you go to this hospital that's 40 minutes away, and they'll call you an ambulance rather than give birth at this smaller hospital. So yeah, so this all happened. So regardless, we had to go to this hospital that's 40 minutes away. So I wanted to be organised. Lincoln was a fast labour. I knew this labour would be fast. So I did the best I could to prepare. But unbeknownst to me, I went to sleep and I had some mild contractions, but nothing major. And then at 2 a.m, I woke up and I thought, oh, this is a big contraction. This is a strong one. I should probably start timing these. And I started timing my contractions from just before 2 a.m, and they just were go. They were go. They were fast. They were close together. They were really strong, and they were painful, really painful. And basically, I went from nothing to 100 in a very short amount of time. Got my partner up. I was like full on in labour. And he said to me, we better go to the hospital at about 20 past 2. And I said, I cannot get in the car. I can't get in the car. I can't drive 40 minutes. I'm going to have this baby before that. And so he called the paramedics, and I won't go into all of the gory details because, you know, a lot of things happened, but safe to say at 2 a.m. I woke up with really strong contractions, and Addison was born on our lounge room floor at 3:07 a.m. So it was just you know, on an hour, just over an hour between sort of when I woke up with the contractions to her being born. So there was no way I would have made it to the hospital, and I would have ended up having her in the car on the side of the road, and ain't nobody wanting to do that. So look, it was an experience. My partner was amazing. He was amazing. He was so calm throughout the whole thing. And, you know, he was on the phone to 000, which is our emergency services, 911 if you're in America, 112 if you're in Europe, you know, same concept. So he called the paramedics. They were on their way, and then the 000 or emergency operator talked him through basically how to deliver Addison. The paramedics did arrive. We had one paramedic and one ambulance arrive literally, I reckon, at 3:05, just in time to basically catch her. And then another ambulance arrived with two paramedics about 5 minutes after that. So, yeah, it was a very eventful, you know, birth. I'm not going to lie. Would I recommend a home birth? No. Not if it's unassisted. If you've got a midwife there and they're supporting you, and you know what you're doing, and you feel confident, then absolutely. You know, I was comfortable at home at least, but I would not recommend an unassisted home birth. It was one of the most terrifying things I have ever done. But my partner was, as I said, amazing, and she arrived perfectly healthy, safe, fast. So, you know, it was an experience. We got to ride in an ambulance. So Addison got an ambulance ride. I got an ambulance ride. I've never been in an ambulance before. And so we got taken off to the hospital, and we ended up spending so we got to the hospital about, I think it was about 5:30 a.m. I think it was it was still pitch black when we got there. So yeah, 5-ish, maybe 4:30, I don't know, 4:30, 5 o'clock, can't remember, it's all a bit of a blur. And then I ended up getting discharged and coming home at about 2:30 in the afternoon, I think. So I didn't stay for long. You know, in Australia, I don't know about the rest of the world, if you have a kind of uncomplicated natural delivery, you can go home within 6 hours if you like, particularly for a second child. For your first, they do encourage you to stay one night, but you don't have to, but they do encourage you to. But when you've had birth already, you are allowed to be discharged after 6 hours, at least in my hospital anyway. So I did elect to go home. I was going to stay just because I hadn't done the newborn kind of phase before. Lincoln didn't come home until he was 2.5 weeks old. So, my milk had well and truly come in, like those baby blues that, those 3-day baby blues, had passed. Like I'd gotten into a bit more of a routine for myself. Lincoln was in a routine because the hospital put him in a routine, just the way that they operate. And so I'd never done that sort of newborn stage before. So, I sort of was going to stay the night and sort of experience that and get the help from the midwives. But after being there for a few hours, I was like, no, I'm going home. I can't share a room with another mum with a baby. I want to be at home in my own bed with my family. So I ended up coming home. So yeah, that's our story. So Addison is now 6 weeks old. So she was born, as I said, on the 31st of March. I may not have said that. She was born on the 31st of March at 3:07 in the morning. My partner was a bit upset that it said she was delivered by the paramedics because he was like, actually, she was delivered by Dad. So I need to change the card. You might not be able to read it. If you're on a large screen, you probably can, but there's a little birth card that's sort of on top of her, and it just has the details of like my name, my parents' name, my weight, my height, where I was born, and who delivered me, my doctor/midwife. And so I am going to go in and add Dad to that where it says paramedics. I'm going to add Dad because while Danny didn't actually deliver her, the paramedic did technically catch her, which was a shame in hindsight because Danny had done all the hard work of supporting me and talking me through the process and really doing the things that a midwife would do. I don't want to go into detail on YouTube, but he did things that was above and beyond for a partner in birth. I know they're equal, partners in the birth, but he definitely went above and beyond what you would expect a partner to do during this process. And so it was a shame in a way that the paramedic arrived when he did because Danny didn't actually get to catch her, whereas I think that would have been really nice for him to be able to do. But the good thing was when she was born, she cried almost immediately and the paramedic was like, she looks great. So that was reassuring. I hadn't kind of realised I was anxious. Danny was very anxious. He told me afterwards that the only thing he just kept thinking about, something's going to go wrong. How am I going to support the two of them? Something's going to happen to one of them. But it didn't. We were both completely fine. It was amazing. So we got to the hospital. I got checked out, cleaned up after birth, delivered. Addie got checked out. We were both great. I needed some things done, which are pretty normal after a birth. I won't go into details, but those of you who have had a baby naturally will understand what I'm talking about. There were a lot of things. I'm just, Addison's probably about to wake up. So if you hear crying or squawking, I will continue this voiceover at a later date. I have nearly finished, so I have nearly finished my layout, so I probably need to wrap this up. Yes, I'm about to do my splatters. So anyway, that's it. She's arrived, she's healthy, she's beautiful. She arrived at home, which was unexpected, unplanned, very much a surprise, but it's a story. It's a story to be told. I will write out her complete birth story and give it to her and put it into my layout, into my album. I just won't have it on a public or a kind of open page. I'll just have some hidden journaling either on the back of this layout or just as like a little extra kind of letter tucked in there. But that's it. That's her arrival. She's here. She completes our family. She's beautiful. We're settling in. 6 weeks, going great. Newborn. I'm sleep deprived and all of that stuff, but we're doing really well. So thank you for those of you who have wished us well. Here's my layout. I think I said this. This is Shannon, a scrap lift of Shannon, part of my Scrap Lift You. Check out everything in the description box down below. But thank you guys. I'm back. I hope to be making more videos a bit more regularly. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.